Today, our topic is the difference between Stoicism and Cynicism. Stoicism and Cynicism are two ancient philosophies that have influenced many people over the centuries. Both of these philosophies come from ancient Greece and were developed to help people live better lives, but they have different approaches and ideas. Understanding the differences between Stoicism and Cynicism can help us see how each philosophy can be useful in our own lives. Let's start by looking at what each philosophy is about, and then compare them. Stoicism is a philosophy that teaches us how to live a good life by focusing on what we can control and accepting what we cannot control. The Stoics believe that the key to happiness is to live in harmony with nature and to develop virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. They thought that external things like money, fame, or power are not important for true happiness. Instead, they believed that our own thoughts and actions are what matter most. The Stoics taught that we should not let our emotions control us. Instead, we should use reason to guide our decisions and stay calm in difficult situations. For example, if something bad happens, a Stoic would try to accept it without getting too upset and focus on finding a solution or learning from the experience. Cynicism, on the other hand, is a philosophy that focuses on living a simple and honest life. The Cynics believe that society and its rules often lead people to live in ways that are not natural or good. They thought that people should reject material possessions, social status, and even traditional manners to live freely and honestly. The most famous cynic was Diogenes, who lived in a barrel and owned almost nothing. He believed that by living simply, he could be truly free and happy. Cynics often questioned the values of society and tried to show people that they did not need wealth or power to live a good life. They were known for their bold and sometimes shocking behavior, which was meant to challenge people's ideas about what is important. Now let's compare these two philosophies. Both Stoicism and Cynicism teach us to focus on what is truly important in life and not to be controlled by external things. However, they have different ways of doing this. Stoicism is more about inner peace and self-control. The Stoics believe that we should accept the world as it is and focus on improving ourselves. They thought that by developing virtues and using reason, we can find happiness even in difficult situations. Cynicism, on the other hand, is more about rejecting society's norms and living in a way that is true to our natural selves. The Cynics believe that by giving up material possessions and social expectations, we can live freely and honestly. Another difference between Stoicism and Cynicism is how they view emotions. The Stoics believe that emotions like anger, fear, or sadness are caused by our own thoughts and judgments. They thought that by changing the way we think, we can control our emotions and stay calm. For example, if someone insults you, a Stoic would try not to get angry, but instead think about why the person said that and whether it really matters. The Cynics, on the other hand, did not focus much on controlling emotions. They were more concerned with living honestly and rejecting society's expectations. They often used humor and sarcasm to challenge people's ideas, even if it made others uncomfortable. Stoicism and Cynicism also have different views on society. The Stoics believed that we should fulfill our roles in society and help others. They thought that by being good citizens and doing our duties, we can contribute to the common good. For example, a Stoic might work hard in their job, take care of their family, and help their community. The Cynics, however, were more critical of society. They believed that many of society's rules and traditions are unnecessary and even harmful. They thought that people should live simply and not worry about social status or what others think of them. For example, a Cynic might choose to live in poverty and reject social norms to show that true happiness does not depend on wealth or status. Despite these differences, both Stoicism and Cynicism can teach us valuable lessons about how to live a good life. Stoicism can help us stay calm and focused in difficult situations by teaching us to control our thoughts and emotions. It reminds us that we cannot control everything in life, but we can control how we respond to it. Cynicism can inspire us to live more simply and honestly by questioning society's values and focusing on what truly matters. It encourages us to be true to ourselves and not to let material possessions or social expectations control our lives. In our modern world, we can learn from both philosophies. For example, we can use Stoic ideas to handle stress and stay calm when things go wrong. If we lose our job or face a difficult situation, we can remind ourselves that we cannot control everything, but we can control how we react. We can focus on finding solutions and learning from the experience instead of getting upset. At the same time, we can use Cynic ideas to question the values of our society. We can ask ourselves whether we really need all the things we have, or whether we are living in a way that is true to ourselves. We can try to live more simply and focus on what truly makes us happy, like spending time with loved ones or pursuing our passions. It is also important to remember that both Stoicism and Cynicism have their limits. Stoicism can sometimes seem too strict or unemotional. While it is good to stay calm and rational, it is also important to allow ourselves to feel emotions and express them in a healthy way. Cynicism, on the other hand, can sometimes seem too extreme or impractical. While it is good to question society's values, it is also important to find a balance between living simply and fulfilling our responsibilities. In conclusion, Stoicism and Cynicism are two ancient philosophies that offer different ways to live a good life. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, develop virtues, and stay calm in difficult situations. Cynicism teaches us to live simply, reject society's norms, and be true to ourselves. Both philosophies have valuable lessons, and we can learn from them to improve our own lives. By combining the wisdom of Stoicism and Cynicism, we can find a balance between inner peace and honest living, and create a life that is meaningful and fulfilling.